And the fireworks begin in just half an hour. Peter Dutton will give a speech that could win him the election against all the odds. And you'll see it right here. It's the opposition leader's reply to the budget. And you know, already that's got Prime Minister Anthony Albanese worried. And you know that because the Labor is already leaking that Albanese will call the election tomorrow instead of waiting as expected until Sunday. In fact, I suspect Albanese's own department might even have made a deliberate mistake this morning when it posted that the government was in caretaker mode already and then said, oops, sorry, and deleted it just 4 minutes later. Guys, we heard your dog whistle, or the ship's siren, to be honest. Now, Albanese calling the election tomorrow means that the TV news bulletins tonight and the papers tomorrow will talk more about that than what Dutton is going to say tonight. And I would say it's no wonder that Albanese would like that to be so, because I think he's worried. Dutton is obviously holding back something big for his speech tonight. But what is already foreshadowed today is a tax cut that will match or nearly the Labor tax cut in its budget on Tuesday. But it's not a cut in income tax. Dutton is instead promising a one-year cut in excise on petrol, 25 cents a litre off. Save you about $14 each time you fill up a full tank.
People will be in net terms better off under us because overall in their family budgets, they'll be paying less tax.
Now, obviously, this is not the tax reform I wanted, the country needs. It's not even the tax cut I suggested, which I would have thought, you know, double the government's $5 a week offer and boast, hey, our cut is bigger, case closed. On the other hand, there is one big difference between Labor's cut and the coalition's: the cost. Dutton's cut to petrol excise is $11 billion cheaper, which gives him room tonight to promise something else, something big. As for voters, Dutton's cut may just give more bang for the buck. Albanese's tax cut is so small, just $5 a week, and it won't come, crucial point, until 15 months from now. And then it'll take another year before it's followed by another $5 a week. In contrast, Dutton's one-year cut in petrol excise will start straight away, instant relief. And it would save most people almost as much money in 1 year anyway as Albanese's will in the next 3 years. And then, of course, there'll be another election, more tax promises, and we can start all over again. Dutton claims his cut will save the average motorist, including pensioners, about $700 to $750 a year. Well, let's see. Labor's tax cuts will save taxpayers, but not pensioners, just a few dollars more over the next 3 years. It's $804. So really, not that much difference. But that's not all, actually. Cheaper petrol and diesel also means cheaper transport costs for businesses, which then can keep their prices lower for consumers. So there's another saving. And Dutton's cut to petrol prices will give most help to motorists in outer city and country seats. Drive more. And those tend to be the seats that the Liberals really, really want to do well in. So that may be why the Treasurer this morning looked stressed, even while insisting his tax cut was better.
If Peter Dutton wins the election, Australians will earn less and keep less of what they earn.
Yet Jim Chalmers, the same bloke, 3 years ago thought cutting petrol excise was actually a good idea when the then Liberal government wanted to do it.
So the 22 cents a litre fuel excise cut, you supported?
Yeah.
But it's bad policy, isn't it?
Well, I don't think it's bad policy to support people through difficult times. You know, the fact that petrol prices have been through the roof has been a brake on the economy, and it's made it harder for families who are already dealing with real wages going backwards. You know, one of the defining features of this government for almost 10 years now is stagnant wages. Families finding it harder to make ends meet. We've got a responsibility to do the right thing by them.
Couldn't say it better. So that's why the Albanese government is now screaming, election, look over here, election, election, election. Don't look over there at Dutton's promise. And there's one other thing that's going to worry the Prime Minister and give Dutton hope. I know Labor looked more cock-a-hoop in Parliament today than the Coalition, but it has been assumed that the 6 seats that the Liberals lost to the Teal Climate Party, let's not call them independents, that's a fraud. the Teal party, the last election, it was assumed that were lost to the Liberals for years to come. But a new JWS poll, admittedly with a small sample size, shows that Teal's Zoe Daniel in huge trouble in the Melbourne seat of Goldstein. 46% after preferences to former Liberal MP Tim Wilson's 54%. And in nearby Kooyong, Monique Ryan, clinging on by just 51% to 49% against Liberal challenger Amelia Hamer. But then again, that poll was taken before Ryan made a fool of herself, before her husband was caught stealing one of Hamer's Liberal posters.
That belongs to me. Hey, you can take it off the property, but it belongs to me.
All right, well, if it goes back up, it'll be taken down again.
The poll was also taken before Ryan was then filmed angrily snubbing journalists who asked her about her husband's theft.
Could you please get your cameras away from me?
And that poll was taken before even more Ryan embarrassment today. News that her staff and volunteers were instructed in a training video to call her Dr. Ryan.
It's really, really important to use the term Dr. Monique Ryan. We want people to know that she's a doctor.
Now, that didn't impress some locals today.
If she wants to be a doctor, go back to the hospital.
Now, what's also costing the Teals and Labor support is cost of living. A poll about that. Australians getting poorer, the economy struggling. And once again, that includes people in Ryan's leafy Kooyong.
There are 28 shops vacant between High Street and Model Tree Road.
So, we're all set now, tomorrow, and for a campaign that's going to decide whether Anthony Albanese will be the first Prime Minister in 94 years to lose an election after serving just one term, the term in which he has made Australians poorer and not richer. And that's the fact, not his tiny tax cut. That's the thing that's going to be the real issue.